I will never understand why they took so much time to go through the tools that you'd be using in the surgery. Hello and welcome to Let's Play Trauma Center Second Opinion. I'm your host, Josef von Usenvard. Kind of an interesting choice this game is, I'd say. I mean, it's not really one that has too much to offer besides the storyline, but if you ask me, this game is terribly underrated. And this actually has been one of the most significant games for me throughout my entire life. Well, not entire life, because it came along, like, in '06 or something. You get my point. So I'll go and be starting a new game here. I'll go and start it on normal, because easy is a bit too easy, hard's a bit too hard, but normal is just right. So, gonna go ahead and go here to my third save file. As you can see, I've logged almost a full day into my first save file, so yeah, I kind of like this game. Anyway, so, right there, the characters and events depicted in this game are fictitious. Any similarities to organizations, people, alive or dead, and whatever the rest that said. Prologue. This is Hope Hospital, located in downtown Angeles Bay. Since its inception, Hope has selflessly served the community. One of the newest doctors here is still in need of guidance, but he strives to improve out of an earnest desire to help people. Dr. Derek Stiles will soon come to realize his full potential. Generic intro scene is generic. Anyway, so after this prologue, we're going to unlock a new episode, which is now available. You may now continue the storyline. You can also select your difficulty mode with the C or Z buttons. Basically, you need to play this with the Wiimote and Nunchuck. That is the only format in which this will work. And by pressing the C button, you can bring it to a easier difficulty level. And by pressing the Z button, you can bring it to a harder difficulty level. Anyway, so I'm going to go and continue on normal here. Standard procedure. Start this episode. Yes. So we're going back to Hope here. And let's see. Chapter 1. Dr. Stiles. 1-1. Standard procedure. Hope Hospital. Consultation room. The patient has been moved to the pre-op area. Mary Fulton, age 39, Hope Hospital's veteran surgical assistant. She's kind and well-liked, so nobody mentions she tends to ramble too much. The injury is located on his forearm, and he's still fully conscious. We should be receiving blood test results from the lab any minute now. It looks worse than it is. He's not in any real danger. You might say he got lucky. Dr. Greg Castle, the head of Hope Hospital's surgical department. He's not easily rattled, but he's strict and expects perfection from his subordinates. You'll be operating, Derek. I will. Derek Stiles, age 26, an inexperienced surgeon and the story's main character. He just completed his residency and accepted a position at Hope Hospital. I was just about to start my rounds, so worry about that later. You're not an intern anymore. Hurry up and prep for the OR. This is a simple extraction procedure. There's nothing to worry about. Just take your time, stay calm, and keep it steady. You should be able to handle this on your own by now. So this is the briefing. It happens before every operation in the game. Basically, it shows you where you'll be operating with that red dot, then just some basic information about the patient, like the name, their height, their weight, that sort of thing, and then it summarizes what you'll be doing down below. So for this operation, we'll be dealing with lacerations and foreign objects in the upper right brachium, requires removal of the foreign objects and suturing many wounds. Basically, he's got cuts on his arm and a couple shards of something lodged in his arm, and so we need to take care of that. Let's begin the briefing. Our patient, Kevin Turk, just arrived in an ambulance. He lost control of his motorcycle and crashed through a glass door. He received a number of lacerations which had begun to hemorrhage, basically bleed. There are glass fragments lodged here, in his right forearm. Our cosmetic surgeon is out at a medical society meeting, but you should be able to handle the stitching. It's fairly straightforward. There are two main objectives in this operation. Suture any lacerations, extract fragments of glass from underneath the patient's skin. Be thorough, and try your best not to leave any scars. Okay, let's begin the operation. Now these first few missions are going to be really tutorial-y, like they'll not give you much option what to do, basically just show you what to do for the future. let's begin the operation. We should start with those lacerations. Take the stitching needle, you do, just a quick little explanation here. You can switch between the surgical tools by using the control stick on the nunchuck. There is a tool for every direction there, including the diagonals. And it can be a bit touchy at times, but most of the time it's a pretty reliable system. Anyway, so continuing. We just need a suture in a zigzag formation. And that'll close up any of those big wounds you see around here. You want to make sure that you don't suture too much or too little. Like, just doing a zigzag like that won't be enough, whereas just doing all that sort of thing will take a bit too much time and won't get you as good of a score. So anyway, good work. Of course, this is only a basic surgery skill. Now do the same thing with the other laceration. Just do the same thing we did. There are different scores you can get in this game. The best is cool, the second best is good, the passing one is okay, and then you can also get a bad, which still works, but you don't really want to get that. And then there's a miss, which is when you make a mistake. Well done. The lacerations have been taken care of. Now take your forceps. We want to remove the glass. The forceps work by pushing down both A and B, so... And then you want to remove objects just by pulling them out in the opposite direction. Like so. All the visible glass has now been extracted. We need to take care of those smaller wounds now. Now, I love this thing, this antibiotic gel. Look what it does.
Amazing.
Lol fixed. Medicine has come a long way. This gel can actually cure small injuries immediately. In the past, cure-all ointments were just gimmicks and scams. But somebody finally created a real one. Why can't someone do that in real life? Oops, I shouldn't be talking so much. Let's continue. Some glass shards are embedded in the patient's arm as well. We'll need to extract those. Make an incision in his upper epithelium, basically his skin. We always want to disinfect the wound first, and select the scalpel.
Remember to be careful.
There's no reason to be nervous, just follow the guideline carefully. Gonna go ahead and pause again here. When she says carefully, she means it. Typically speaking, the guideline for the incision rather, is kinda touchy. What I typically do is that I use both hands, like my primary one holding the Wiimote and then the secondary one stabilizing it. Typically that works well for me. Just do realize that in a lot of these operations, the initial incision is the hardest part, and if you can get past the skin, then you'll most likely be doing a good job. So anyway, going to go ahead and continue, and you want to do that carefully.
Dr. Styles.
This is serious. We can't let them get infected. So, you'll want to do what you did before, putting those glass shard extraction techniques to work. Just go ahead and pull out the glass shards, ever so carefully.
Doctor?
And then just do that. Now, you don't have to pull them all out at once and then do the wounds all at once. You could go ahead and pull one out and then do the wound for it, pull the other out and then do the thing for it. It doesn't really matter. I just tend to do everything I need to with one tool at once, because I just find it easier that way. Alright, everything looks good. Let's close it up.
Dr. Styles.
Suture the wound in the same way you have before. Now, one just has to make sure they aren't too wide or too narrow, like doing it just like that, like where it's not even going through, won't be effective, and also doing it like this won't be effective. So you just want to make sure it covers the wound, but doesn't go too far or too narrow.
Let's move on.
Now we're about done, but you shouldn't relax just yet. Disinfect the area. We want to make sure that there's no infection under the skin, so basically just rub down the antibiotic gel until the bleeding stops there. Now let's just apply the bandage. There are some tools you only need to use in specific instances. You can pick them up once I have placed them on the tray. Those occasional tools will be placed over there on that tray, like this bandage. Then you just want to pull down
Dr. Styles.
and cover the wound completely with the bandage. And we're done. Good job, Dr. Styles. Make sure you review what we went over today when you have the chance. And thus is our first successful operation of this game. We are now at the results screen. Basically, this game is a score-based game where various things factor into a score at the end of the operation. Those include the stage score, which is basically your cools, okays, bads, misses, that sort of thing. Basically, those all add up, and the more of those you get, the higher that score is. Vital bonus, I'll be talking about that one in the next operation, because it wasn't really relevant here. Time bonus, you might have noticed a timer up in the top right? And basically, the less time you take to do it, the better your score is. And then every operation has its own special bonuses you can get, like making no mistakes. Every operation has different ones, so they are by no means a constant thing. So, with that noted, let's go ahead and press A to see what we got, and I got a B. What do you mean I did badly on surgery? Okay, that's not that bad. There are multiple different... I'll go ahead and explain later. See? You're catching on quickly. That wasn't so hard, was it? I couldn't have done it without my lovely assistants. I can definitely see some improvements, but flirting isn't everything. Seriously though, keep practicing, and you'll do just fine. Now then, that B rank there. There are different ranks you can get. I believe the lowest you can get is a C. At least the lowest I've ever gotten on any of these is a C, so I'm assuming that's the lowest you can get. Then you can also get a B, which is what I got, and an A, in ascending order, with an A being the better of the three. However, if you do exceptionally well, you can get an S rank. And if you're on the hard difficulty, there is one more rank you can get, the XS, Medical Prodigy. Basically, if you do exceedingly well in an operation, despite the hard difficulty, then you get the XS rank. It's kind of an XS rank, if you will. See what I did there? Oh, I'm terrible. Anyway, so we're going to want to go to the next operation here, and then I'll probably call it done after this. So, learning the ropes. Start this episode? Why, yes. One, two, learning the ropes. Judging from the MRI, the tumor is located in the stomach. It's benign, but you should be prepared for anything. Any questions, Dr. Styles? Huh? Oh. Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks anyway. Are you even listening? I know you're stressed, but this just so happens to be your job. Are you getting enough sleep? You need at least 6 hours a night. I'm sure they went over that in med school. These patients are depending on you. Derek, don't forget our follow-up appointment with Mr. Jenkins this afternoon. Have you read the report? I haven't, actually. You need to shape up. This is real life. We aren't playing games. I see what they did there. You've been here 3 years, Derek. We shouldn't still have to babysit you. This might be grounds to open an investigation. The impaired medical and social development of Dr. Derek Styles. Harsh. Cut me some slack, Mary. You're not a resident doctor anymore, Styles. You know that. By the way, Mary, I spoke with Dr. Hoffman. Thank you very much. Wait, you spoke with the director? About what? Don't worry, it's none of your business. It's a personal matter. Forget I ever mentioned it. Are you going on vacation or something? I wouldn't mind a nice, long cruise myself. Lounging in the sun, the sea stretching. Okay, that's enough. We have an operation to perform. So, here we see that we have a tumor confirmed at the surface of the stomach. It should be removed before it becomes malignant. Basically, there are two types of tumors. There's benign and malignant. Benign means non-cancerous. Malignant means it is cancerous. Obviously, having a malignant tumor is much worse. However, since this tumor is benign, it is more or less harmless where it is right now. That said, it could develop malignancy at any given time, therefore it is best if we remove it now. Today, we need to excise a tumor in the patient's distal stomach. 2 years ago, tests indicated that it was small and benign. However, it's grown rapidly and started to hemorrhage. At this rate, it might become malignant. After talking with Mr. Lorry, we've decided to remove it. There is one objective in this operation: excise and remove the tumor in the patient's distal stomach. That is all. But you'll need to remove the tumor using the Powell procedure. First, drain the tumor cytoplasm to decrease its size. Then, once you excise it, the cells can't metastasize, resulting in a smaller incision. There seems to be a trend towards this type of removal. It's a good idea for you to learn it. Now, begin the operation. Stay calm and keep it steady. Understood. Let's begin the operation. Now then, this is the first real operation in the game, where we actually got to go inside and do a surgery. This will be a laparotomy. You'll need to open up his abdomen. You've done this before, so there's no reason to be anxious. So, just like any incision, we're going to want to disinfect the area, and then, once that clears up, I'm going to want to make the incision.
Dr. Styles,
We're going to treat a tumor, but... his vitals are dropping. You'll need to use a syringe. Let's stabilize condition. So, up here you see the vitals. Right now it's at 58. It goes up to 99. This is the stabilizer. And you just inject that into the area, and the vitals are stabilized. Now it can begin. At first glance, it appears that nothing is wrong. However, yesterday's test revealed something in the patient's lower stomach. So, this is the ultrasound. We use it to, find stuff. So, we are going to want to activate the ultrasound by pressing the B button. So, shadows appear, like that we saw just there. We lost sight of it because the ultrasound was too far away. If you scan directly over the tumor, it should remain visible for much longer. Expert doctors can perform this operation without the benefit of visual aid, but you should take a moment to confirm the shadow before moving forward. So,
let's move on.
just make sure that you know what it is you're cutting into. Like, we don't want to cut over here when the tumor's over here, because then that's going to be a cut over there, and that's just not going to be nice. So, okay, that's right. This is definitely the problem. So, what we want to do with this tumor is we want to cut down the middle so that it's opened up. It looks pretty big. Looks like we did this just in time. As Dr. Castle explained earlier, we'll be using the Powell procedure. So this is the drain used to drain yes, it's used to drain fliquids. So, use that to drain any fluid and or liquid that needs to be drained out, so, including the cytoplasm. So we've completed the first step, drain the cytoplasm. But cytoplasm will continue to ooze out if we don't do anything. Excise it with a scalpel. Now, we want to do this pretty quickly, because if we don't, then the cytoplasm is going to come back and we gotta drain it again. So now we just gotta extract the tumor. Well done. You're doing well so far. But removing the tumor is only the beginning. You need to apply a synthetic membrane to stop the bleeding. Grab a membrane with the forceps and place it over the incision. So, just take that membrane and put it right there over that big old gaping hole. Now we need to affix it. So we want to use the antibiotic gel and do that. Once you put on the antibiotic gel, it'll just meld into the skin Yes, because he has skin on his stomach. It'll just meld into the organ just naturally, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. That's enough gel. The membrane is beginning to meld with the tissue. It's made of protein, so there's no chance of tissue rejection. I think it's blended in nicely. It should heal up perfectly. Now finish the operation by suturing the incision. Generally speaking, if you start the suturing over here and end it over here, that results in the cool. Like, you want to make sure it starts and ends on different sides. So, go ahead and do the gel, and then
Good job,
bandage.
Dr. Styles.
The operation is complete. So, back at the results screen, I said to go over what the vital bonus is. Basically, at the end of the operation, if the patient's vitals are high, then you get a bonus for doing that, whereas if they're low, then you don't get as much of a bonus. So anyway, I didn't get as many special bonuses there. I believe one here is if you find the tumor using only one ultrasound beep. That's one of the things, but regardless, I didn't get it, so I'm still only a specialist. Nice work, Derek. You took time and did things right. Just remember that the patient's safety always comes first. You're getting better every day. Keep up the good work. So, with this double B ranking, I think I'm going to cut it off here because we've done a lot in this episode. We've started the game for one, then we've gotten past a couple of the tutorial things, met 3 of the main characters, so I think we've done enough for here. So, in the next episode, we're going to go ahead and see what exactly is being farewelled to here. See you next time. Arrivederci.